Hello everyone and welcome now to game 1 in a series between Acers, Bly, and Fanatics alive here on Antigua Shipyard. Fnatic alive spawning as the blue Terran player at what I will call the 5 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Bly spawning as the red Zerg at the 11 o'clock position. If you guys hear my daughter in the background, she is on her way out and apparently she does miss me already. Alright, Terran versus Zerg, the most humble player in the world. Okay, we'll see who they are talking about here in just a moment. And Bly's like, really? Me? I don't know if they're actually talking about Bly. Anyways, we'll figure out what the strategies will be here in just a moment. Alive and Bly will be going head to head in a Terran versus Zerg matchup on Antigua Shipyard. And here, forced crossbonds does tend to make things a little bit more interesting. Now, one of the things that Zerg players have really been trying to do is trying to figure out when to take that third base and if and when they need to take that fourth base. I know a lot of Zerg players just simply try to deny the third, as we are going to be seeing an SCV now setting up for a proxy barracks. Oh, nicely done. Is the drone actually going to scout this out though? The drone is going to make its way up, take a look around here, and not spot anything. Alright, and now still moving around. This one drone may spot this though, and Bly, very much on top of his game, does spot the double racks here, and now SCV and a drone are battling it out. This does not look good for the drone. The drone, it may actually get taken down. Oh yes, a little bit of a double team in the back, as now more drones are coming over. Now, one thing you may be wondering is how, a little bit of a revenge kill there, as now there is 3 drones trying to take down this one particular SCV. SCV is low on life. Where is it going to go? What is it going to do? It is going to get taken down, and this does not look good for Alive. Alive, not in a very good position at all. That SCV just getting harassed like none other, as the drones are still clawing away at that one particular barracks. Now coming back over here, Alive now changing things up, going with a command center on the front door, as this barracks is still getting pressured. SCV now wandering around, Alive able to adapt his strategy very quickly, as we now are seeing a spawning pool being placed down as well. This barracks, drones are coming over here to just try and harass. The problem though is that the longer these drones are away from mining, the more essential minerals will be lost. We are seeing that 16 versus 14 drones, and the double command center opening of Alive should be able to catapult Alive and keep him in terms of the overall economic race. Overlord now looking to make its way in. It is not going to spot that command center, I do not believe. No, it does not, and is now backing away, as the drones here are still picking apart this barracks. Now at this point, Alive should be canceling the barracks, and once he cancels that barracks, he knows that he really won out in terms of resources lost. 3764 total resources lost, but then again, these drones were not mining for a good, I would say, minute and a half, as we are now going into that double orbital command. Let's take a look at the overall harvester count, 21 to 18. More drones are being trained. Also, another thing to note, queens are necessary. Queens both help production and base defense. No reason not to get at least 1 queen per hatchery, as we now see the Overlord still doing a little bit of a flyby. Now, this is going to be a little bit of an issue for Bly. Bly is currently playing in the dark. He doesn't know what he's going to be going up against, and all he's really doing right now is just training up a whole bunch of workers. He is going to get that double inject off, and I am curious to see what Bly is going to be doing with those 8 larvae. Those 8 larvae are really going to dictate the course of the game, what's going to be happening in the next minute or two. Are we going to see a lot of Zerglings for harassment, or just a lot of drones? And it is looking like Bly is going very heavy drone. Was that expansion spotted? No, Bly still has no idea. Alive has an expansion here on the bottom right hand side of the map. Now this is a dangerous position for Bly, and for me coming in from a viewer's perspective, Bly may not know that there's an expansion down here, and he definitely doesn't know that a third expansion is already being placed down. Alive should be able to catch up in the economic game, especially now that we see a lot of Zerglings being trained. Marines also doing a bit of scouting out across the map. We are going into double Hellions, and also looking to add in a supply depot on the front door. Alive really is going to be defending against what Bly is doing. If Bly had opted to go Roaches, this would be a completely different matchup, but no, it is going to be Zerglings, and these Hellions should be able to deal a lot of damage. You can see that these Zerglings are running around the map, and is that Marine going to spot it? Yes, the Marines are going to spot the Zerglings. A little bit of a lucky break there, as Alive does lose that one scouting Marine. Hellions are going to now try to get in position, and there's a nice torch there. Perfect timing. Another round of Hellions needs to come out, and in a hurry, as the Zerglings are already backing away. Hellions need to be very careful. They do move quickly, but not as fast as metabolic boosted Lings. And those metabolic boosted Lings can get us around on those Hellions rather easily. Orbital Command, third one already coming underway. Meanwhile, Hatchery coming in from Bly. Bly sitting at 60 over 68 supply. Alive sitting at 49 over 73. As the Hellions, now feeling a little bit more gutsy, make their way forward. And now the Hellions look to back off once more, perhaps scared that Zerglings may be trying to do a run by. Double Hatchery coming in. Bly also setting up a macro hatch. Evolution chambers being added to make sure that units cannot slip through up this ramp all too easily, but then force a lot of engagement over here at the natural expansion. Hatchery is now up and running. The Hellions will scout this out and pretty much know that since there is that hatchery there, it is time to attack. Wait, no, Zergling, not time to attack. The Zerglings are going to try to get underneath this orbital. One Zergling down there, but there are going to be 4 Hellions to meet and greet. Unable to catch up to those Zerglings. The Zerglings are going to be stopping. Now here we are, Zerglings still doing a little bit of scouting here. Harvester count at 50 compared to 42. We do have triple mules, as now it looks like an Overlord will get shot down, unable to spew any creep for some strange reason, even though the layer was operational. Hellions now going to get torched a bit, but the Hellion only taking some damage there, still operational, and it may end up getting repaired. Alive still wandering around with these Hellions. Are the Hellions perhaps going to engage against these Zerglings and try to clean up and retake some of that map control, as we are getting a bunker here? I like the positioning on the bunker, forcing the Zerglings to walk around a bit. The Marines will be able to shoot those Zerglings all the way around unless they take a very far run, which would still buy a lot of time for these SCVs to do a little bit of harvesting. Hellions now looking to move across the center. Zerglings going to be controlling the center here, and so far Bly is only using Zerglings, as it looks like some of those Zerglings will get taken down. SCVs now coming back over here. It looks like we are going to see a bit of an engagement. The SCVs did not bother to repair the bunker, and that may be an issue there, as the Marines are now going to get torched. However, Hellions making their way over as well. SCVs working together and just being able to mineral path through all of these units. And who lost out more in that engagement? It looks like Bly did. So Alive, who was originally opening up with one strategy, now completely changed it around. And we'll see whether or not Bly will be able to react and respond accordingly. Hive Tech alongside Spire nearly simultaneous. That does normally mean Broodlords and Tier 3 Air. So far, Bly is really dumping a lot of units into Zerglings, or Larva into Zerglings so far. And it's also important to note that Bly does have 11 larvae. Those 11 larvae will be very, very beneficial, as we now see the Hellions gonna try to back away. Oh, one round of attack, and now here we go. The Marines will be dropping down, going after drones. One drone will get taken down, and now going after a spawning pool. Is it gonna be enough? Individually stim-packed Marines, very nicely done, as we are gonna go into infestors now. It looks like the spawning pool may get taken down. Yes, it does get taken down, and the medevac able to pick up all of those very low hit point units. A second fungal growth never came, and that was absolutely huge. All these Marines very, very glad they owe that medevac pilot a definite drink, and we'll see what's going to be happening now. All right, medevac pilot giving the thumbs up, saying, you know what, I got you, boys. Everything's all good. Medevac pretty much going to be out of energy after this particular heal, and we'll see what Alive is going to be doing next. So far, the game is still interesting. Alive does have about a 40 supply advantage, as a group of Marines here are going to stop this one particular drone. The drone, oh, is it going to be able to run away in time? Needs one more shot, and down it goes. Medevac now perhaps going to be dropping in a different corner, but there is an Overlord right there. Not going to work out well. And there, wow, why is there an ant on me? All right. Queens able to finish up the medevac. No possible escape whatsoever, as we see an expansion here by Bly. Bly was not command center happy in building up a 4th command center as of yet, instead focusing on very heavy production. You can see the number of barracks, 13 production buildings overall, a large number of production buildings, especially at the 15-minute mark. And we are going to see a crazy engagement here. Zergling's going to finish off this SCV. Fungal growth going to be coming in. Siege tanks and Marines coming over. And the Marauders are going to be able to get anything. Baneling may be able to get off a couple of splashes there, as they're able to take down some Marine siege tanks. 3 of them able to push back and regain some of that zone map control, which is oh so important in shutting down Zergling routes and infestor attacks. All right, let's take a look. Broodlords now underway. 6 Broodlord cocoons, and do we have Vikings in the center? Siege tanks cleaning up a lot of the Zerglings and infestors, and this hatchery of Bly should fall relatively quickly. Here we are, Marines going after drones. Drones are falling. Queens now trying to make their way in. 1 Marine up on the high ground. Is it going to be enough? The hatchery looks like it will get taken down. Down it goes. Even after a fungal growth, all those Marines, will they survive? No, that fungal growth plus those broodlings, a little bit too much, but now Bly counterattacking with the broodlords in the center. Penta training of Vikings now underway, so 5 Vikings at a time, as the broodlings now making their way in. Alive needs to pull back with those Marines. He's also training up 13 Marines at a time, as the broodlords are dropping the kids off, and those kids are just absolute bullies, not even caring that 1 Marine is just trying to run away. Broodlord is going to be dropping off those kids in just a moment, but in comes the Vikings. Here we are. We have already 5 Vikings in position. Is it going to be enough to shut down these Broodlords? I do not believe so, as the Broodlings come in, and now the Vikings trying to do a little bit of an engagement here, but the Queens with also very respectable range in anti-air. Is it going to be enough? Vikings engaging 1 Broodlord down. A 2nd Broodlord is going to get taken down. No transfusions. Beautiful transfusions, keeping that alive, but more transfusions still coming in. The Vikings, however, are starting to mass in number, and with 7 Vikings, I don't know if there's going to be enough here. The Queens are Goliaths with heal, as they're trying to snipe down all of those Vikings here. There's the fungal growth. Is it going to be enough? There's not enough Broodlords. The Corruptors are now going up against the Vikings. The Queens now joining in on the fight, and Bly taking an absolute beating here, as we also see an engagement here, a small tactical engagement trying to take down some of these units. So far, Zerglings, Infestors, Fungal Growth, Corruptors now backing off, and the lack of creep tumors across the map may have done it, as those Queens were simply too slow, and Bly is now sitting at 90 over 200 supply. That Queen not going to be able to make it out. Down it goes. All right, the Marines going after perhaps this 1 Greater Spire. Greater Spire very, very low on hit points. The Greater Spire will get taken down. It needs to pick up all those Marines, otherwise they will all get killed. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There it goes, but it doesn't matter, as more Marines now coming in to retake the center. Bly perhaps just wondering how he lost a bad engagement. He was trying to force an engagement when he shouldn't have, as a whole bunch of Marines do get eaten up by a fungus there, and now we are going into some Banelings. Queens now back off over here. Another hatchery will be falling. Command centers will be flying towards their targets, and I believe that will be it for game 1. Alive with now a pretty much unsurmountable lead. No way for a possible recovery for Bly unless Alive falls asleep at the keyboard. All right, Marines going in. Are they going to take down the hatchery? Yes. And at this point, it's just a matter of time still. Bly pretty much on his last legs. Is he going to be able to save any of these bases? I don't believe so. The Marines are now already upgraded 3-3. a last round of Ultralisk look to finish the job, or perhaps even up the score. Is it going to be enough? Drones are all getting taken down. Ultralisk does pop out only to get killed in transit. And now here we go. The Infestor is unable to get off any fungal growths. More and more Ultralisk getting caught in transit again. The Ultralisk down to 120 hit points. And the Queen is still trying to engage. Are we going to attack? Here we go. The Ultralisk are now burrowing, or not burrow charging because they don't have that yet. Ultralisk now just making their way in. But Blythe now down to 44 supply. And there is the GG. Alive taking game 1 in this series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1. Stay tuned for game 2.